Hi there, this is Beth with another book talk for you from the Sterling Public Library Young Adult section. As it turns out, I've been getting a lot of new books over the last couple of months, so I decided that today I'm going to talk about two new books instead of a new one and an old one. So the first one I want to talk about is this one. It's called Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas, and the first line of it is, Yadriel wasn't technically trespassing because he'd lived in the cemetery his whole life. So this book is about Yadriel, who's a trans gay boy who, as the first line says, lives in sort of right next to a cemetery. His whole family are brujos and brujas, which are witches. They were supposedly given power by the Lady Death thousands of years ago, and so this magic has passed down. So all the males in Yadriel's family have power over the spirits of death, or the spirits of dead people. They can call them, they can send them off if they're hanging around too much, whatever. And then the females have the power of healing. Well, Yadriel is trans, and his family apparently doesn't think he's male enough to get the powers, so he decides to sneak around and do the ritual himself to get the powers, which is what's happening at the beginning of the book. And it works. So he gets these powers, and he decides he's going to use them to try and find his cousin Miguel, who has died and disappeared, and nobody can find his spirit, nobody can find his body. So he uses his power to call the spirit, but he ends up finding the spirit of a boy who's just died, the bad boy in his high school, Julian, was this guy back here. Anyway, Yadriel wants to just send him along so he could prove that he has these powers, but Julian's not having any of that. He wants to know why he died, what happened, and how his friends are, if everybody's okay. So Yadriel and Julian come to an agreement that they will figure out what's going on. So they spend several days together, the spirit and the boy, trying to figure out what's going on. Anyway, it's a very fun book. It's a bit of a fantasy, it's a bit of a mystery, and a little bit of romance all mixed up in there. It was pretty entertaining. It kept me reading on the edge of my seat. I wanted to find out what happened, how everything goes down. It was a teeny bit predictable. It wasn't too hard to figure out for me, what was going on, but it was very fun to read how it all played out, and it was very exciting. So I would suggest this one. It's very good. It just came out this month. The other one I'm going to talk about is this one, which came out last month. It's called I'll Be the One by Lyla Lee. Okay, and the first line is, Fat girls can't dance. So, K-pop. This one's about K-pop. And I have to admit, K-pop is not my favorite genre, but this was a fun book. My coworker Libby assures me that contests to find K-pop talent in singing and dancing are very, very common. So this book is about a girl named Sky who is very talented at singing and dancing, and she decides to enter one of these contests in the US. Well, the only problem is she is plus sized, and when she does get in, but some of the judges aren't too happy with her. They think that she doesn't fit the type that should be in a K-pop star. But she's determined to push through and do her best anyway. I like her character a lot. She's very strong. She's a very strong female character. She's going to do what she's very confident. She knows she's very talented, and she's going to do what she wants to do. So this book is really nice because it messes with stereotypes, and not just the fat girls can't dance stereotype, but the other main character is an Instagram person, an Instagram persona who's a model, and who comes across one way over Instagram, but Sky gets to know him and finds out that he's really a sort of a different person. So it does deal with stereotypes and breaking them down, which is kind of cool. It's a realistic fiction with a little bit of romance, also a very fun read, and a lot of references to BTS if you like those. Okay, that's all I have for today. I will see you next week.